Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hidden Korea. Thank you for joining us today. Tonight, we're diving into a breaking revelation that has sent shockwaves through K-entertainment. A late-night encounter so unexpected, so secretive, and so electrifying that fans and insiders alike are scrambling for answers. K-Biz in shock. Kim Do-hoon and Kim Yoo-jung's secret late-night meetup revealed. Why were the two stars together at such a late hour? What exactly happened behind those closed doors? And why has this quiet meetup sparked a wildfire of speculation across the industry? Stay with us, 'cause we're about to uncover every whispered detail, every hidden moment, and everything Dispatch didn't show you. Let's begin. The neon lights of Seoul flickered like restless heartbeat monitors as midnight approached, casting long shadows across the nearly empty back streets of Cheongdam. It was the hour when celebrities vanished from the public eye, when limousines were swapped for nondescript sedans, and when secrets began to breathe. But on this particular night, something far more explosive than secrecy was about to unfold. Precisely 11:58 p.m., a black car slid quietly into the underground parking lot of a private studio building, one known only to insiders. The engine cut. The door opened. Kim Do-hoon stepped out, hood pulled low, mask covering his face, eyes darting with the nervous tension of someone who knew the risk he was taking. No one was supposed to be watching. Except, someone was. High above, hidden inside a parked van with tinted windows, a camera lens tracked his movements with predatory precision. Do-hoon checked his phone once, hesitated, walked inside. Minutes later, another car approached, sleek, silver, elegant. The kind only top-tier actresses dare drive without a chauffeur. It stopped 2 spaces away from where Do-hoon's vehicle had been. The headlights dimmed. The door clicked open, and Kim Yoo-jung emerged, dressed in a long coat, cap, and mask, but unmistakable even beneath her layers of disguise. The camera in the van trembled at the sight. Rising stars, past co-stars, rumored chemistry the fans had buzzed about for months. Caught in the same secret location long after midnight, Yoo-jung glanced around cautiously, her breath fogged in the cold air. For a moment, she stood completely still, listening, sensing, calculating. Then she walked briskly toward the elevator and pressed the code with familiar ease. As the doors closed behind her, the city swallowed the evidence of her presence. But the camera above? It captured everything. Inside the elevator, Yoo-jung exhaled for the first time. Hands trembled slightly, not with fear, but anticipation. She checked her reflection, adjusted her mask, whispered under her breath, "He's early tonight." The elevator chimed softly. When the doors reopened, she stepped into a dimly lit hallway and approached Studio Room 3. She paused, listening. Then, with a small inhale, she opened the door. Do-hoon turned at the sound. For a split second, time froze. Their eyes met. And everything, every rumor, every unspoken question the industry whispered, ignited silently in that room. "You came," he said softly, lowering his hood. "Me too," she replied, stepping inside. A tension hung between them, fragile and dangerous, the kind born from months of unsent messages and unresolved emotions. Yoo-jung removed her mask. Her expression was unreadable but intense, like someone standing at the edge of a cliff unsure whether to jump or step back. Do-hoon swallowed, fists tightening at his sides. "I wasn't sure if you'd show up." Yoo-jung's voice was steady. "I almost didn't." Outside the room, the hidden camera zoomed through the window's narrow opening. The van operator stiffened, recording every frame without blinking. Inside, Yoo-jung and Do-hoon stood face to face. He took a step closer. She didn't move away. "What I said last time," Do-hoon began, voice trembling. "I didn't mean for it to make things awkward." "It didn't," she whispered. "It did." Parted, surprise flashing across her face. "Do-hoon." He cut her off, the emotion in his voice raw and unrefined. "Yoo-jung. I shouldn't have confessed during filming. I shouldn't have said it when you were under so much pressure." Her breath hitched. The truth they had both been running from now stood in the room with them. She looked away. That wasn't the problem. Then what was? Her answer dropped like a bomb. "Heard you meant it." Do-hoon froze. The world outside the window held its breath. Cameras clicked. He whispered, "I did." Young's eyes glistened. Silence swallowed the room, heavy, vulnerable, electric. The door to the studio clicked shut, and the two disappeared deeper inside. The camera zoomed in desperately, trying to see. The screen suddenly flickered. The signal distorted. And then, a hand slammed against the van window from the outside. The camera shook violently. The operators gasped. Someone had found them. And the secret meeting. No longer secret. The pounding on the van window was so violent that the entire vehicle rocked. Inside, the two men operating the camera froze, mouths open. Blood instantly drained from their faces. The lens tilted, capturing only the trembling edge of the rooftop before the screen filled with static. The fist struck the window again. This time a voice accompanied it, low, sharp, and unmistakably furious. Open the door. The operators stared at one another, terror gripping their throats. Hadn't expected this. They had been shadowing celebrities for years. But never had anyone tracked them down during a covert surveillance night. They scrambled to hide the footage, smashing buttons, stuffing wires into bags. Panic rising like water in a sinking ship. The fist slammed again. I said open it. Then the door was ripped open from the outside. A man with a cap pulled low, jaw clenched in absolute fury. One of the operators out by the collar and slammed him against the van. His face wasn't fully visible, but his silhouette was unmistakable. Kim Do-hoon. He had seen them. He had followed them. And now he stood beneath the fluorescent rooftop lights like a storm personified. You think you can hide up here and record her? He spat, grabbing the man's wrist so hard the camera equipment clattered to the ground. Inside the building, Yoo-jung flinched at the sound of shouting. She rushed toward the window, but the blinds only let soft thin slices of the rooftop through. Her heartbeat raced painfully. Something was wrong. She turned, ready to head outside, but a sudden knock echoed on the studio door. Her breath caught. But staff? Were they discovered? Was this night about to collapse around them? Yoo-jung, Do-hoon's voice called out, strained, breathless. She opened the door instantly. Stumbled inside, locking it behind him. Rising and falling as if he had just outrun a wildfire. His cap was gone. His mask pulled down. Blazing with a mix of rage and fear. They were filming us, he said, voice shaking with adrenaline. They followed me. They followed you. They know everything. Yoo-jung felt the world tilt beneath her feet. Her pulse thudded in her ears. Did they get the footage? Do-hoon swallowed hard. I don't know. Those words turned her blood cold. I don't know meant possibly yes. Do-hoon stepped closer, gripping her shoulders with both hands. Didn't want this for you. Not this way. Not tonight. I wanted to talk, just talk. I didn't want your name dragged into something you never asked for. She stared at him, eyes widening with a mix of fear and something deeper, exhaustion, heartbreak, unspoken tension. I didn't know the risk, she whispered. You think I came here without understanding what could happen? He froze. The truth in her voice hit him harder than any blow he'd thrown at the rooftop. She continued, Do-hoon. I knew the moment I stepped into that elevator that this could ruin everything. My work. My agency. My reputation. Her voice cracked. But I still came. Stared at her, stunned. Caught between guilt and overwhelming emotion. Why? It was barely a whisper. But it detonated in the silence of the room. Because I wanted to see you. Every muscle in Do-hoon's body tensed. Her breath trembled as she continued. If it was a mistake, even if it complicates everything, I came because I needed to talk to you two. For a moment, neither breathed. Then, the sound of footsteps thundered down the hallway outside. Yoo-jung's head snapped toward the door. Do-hoon's jaw tightened. Someone was coming. Staff. Not security. Not someone friendly. The shadows beneath the door shifted. Murmured. Which room? They're in here somewhere. Hurry before they leave. Do-hoon grabbed Yoo-jung's hand. We have to go. Now. He pulled her toward the emergency exit at the back of the studio. Burst open, revealing a narrow staircase leading downward into darkness. They sprinted down the metal steps, breaths sharp. Steps echoing in frantic rhythm. Above them, the door flew open. Flashlights sweeping the stairwell. Down there, someone shouted. Yoo-jung's heart pounded violently. Do-hoon tightened his grip, refusing to let her slip even a step behind him. They reached the lower floor and burst out into the alley. Cold night air slashing against their skin. A car screeched in the distance. Another voice yelled. Footsteps gave chase. Do-hoon pulled her behind a row of dumpsters, pressing her back to the wall, shielding her with his body as beams of light cut through the alley. Yoo-jung's breath came in shallow waves. Her heart felt like it would burst from her chest. Do-hoon, she whispered, shaking. And close enough for their foreheads to almost touch? I won't let anyone hurt you, he whispered back. Stayed frozen in that shadowed sliver of darkness until the voices faded. The pounding footsteps receded. Ali fell silent once more. Finally, slowly, Yoo-jung looked up at him. What do we do now? She asked. His voice was quiet, but unyielding. We face whatever comes next, together. But neither of them knew. At the rooftop footage, the secret meetup, whispered confession, and their narrow escape, was already on its way to being leaked. And by sunrise, K Entertainment would never be the same again. Dawn crept over Seoul. The city looked peaceful. But beneath that calm surface, the entertainment world was already shaking. By morning, whispers had turned into headlines. Photos, shaky clips, and frantic witness accounts spread like wildfire. The names Kim Do-hoon and Kim Yoo-jung dominated every platform, every comment section, every news feed. The secret meetup that began as a quiet, fragile moment between two people had spiraled into a tidal wave threatening to swallow them whole. Yet, in the middle of the chaos, one truth remained unshaken. They weren't facing it alone. First time, they had stepped into the storm together. Not as co-stars. Not as rising celebrities. Two people willing to hold on despite the noise surrounding them. No one knew what would happen next. No one knew what the industry would decide. Backlash might come. But one thing was certain. Their night, had changed everything. The story was far from over. Thank you for joining us on this intense and unforgettable journey. Here on Hidden Korea. Your curiosity, passion, support are what drive us to uncover the most dramatic stories, the most mysterious encounters, and the moments that send shockwaves through the entire industry. Stay tuned. 'Cause the truth behind the biggest headlines is always deeper than it seems. This is Hidden Korea. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.